This is Mac OS Ken.
Word of one big week in October. Production news for Arizona and India. And Apple gathers Vision OS developers. It is Monday, the 7th of October, 2024. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken. Brought to you by yours truly and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSKen. Creepy, kooky, mysterious, financial. Apple has set the date and time for its fourth quarter and full fiscal year 2024 results. The time is the usual, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. The date, All Hallows Eve, Thursday, the 31st of October. Popcorn balls and gummy worms to be served after. Maybe you're thinking, last Halloween was much more fun for Apple. That's when they introduced their scary fast M3 processor line. Anyway, that's what I thought. Turns out, though, that was on the 30th, not the 31st, though they did lean into the Halloween thing. Anyway, what's-his-name says they're doing something similar this year. Did I say what's-his-name? I meant Bloomberg's Mark Gurman. In Sunday's Power On newsletter, Gurman put his money on when Apple will do what that week. Sounds like they plan to run it. According to the newsletter, the week will start with the release of iOS 18.1, and one imagines iPadOS 18.1 and macOS Sequoia 15.1. Assuming he's correct, that'll mean the first bits of Apple Intelligence, like the writing tools and notification summaries, hitting that week, with the fun stuff like Image Playground and Genmoji hitting later. Then you got the earnings call on Thursday. Then lots of new hardware, according to... Checks notes. Oh yes. What's his name? In the same Power On newsletter, the same Mr. Gurman said he expects a lot of hot newness in Apple's hardware space for All Saints Day. Similar to last year's Scary Fast event, which focused on the M3, this one will be largely focused on devices powered by Apple's M4 processor. According to the newsletter, Apple is targeting Friday, the 1st of November, to release 14-inch and 16-inch MacBook Pros powered by M4, 2 tiers of Mac Mini powered by M4, a refreshed iMac powered by M4, and a refreshed iPad Mini powered by Magic, maybe. I don't know, he didn't say. After reading that, I found myself wondering when the media event will be. I also wonder what it will be like. Last year, Apple did the Scary Fast video presentation on the 30th of October, a Monday evening. The new Macs that are announced went up for pre-order that day, with deliveries hitting just over a week later, Tuesday, the 7th of November. Are the M4 things actually delivering on the 1st of November? If so, when's the event? Thursday, the 24th of October? We'll have to keep our eyes peeled. Which is a really gross phrase if you think about it. Speaking of processors, news of more Apple Silicon production here in the States. Mac rumors had Apple chip-making partner TSMC and chip packaging company Amkor announcing an initiative for the two companies in Arizona. In a press release late last week, the two said they'd signed a memorandum of understanding to collaborate on chip production, packaging, and testing in the Grand Canyon state. That pretty much dots T's and crosses I's about which we had already heard. The report says Apple last year confirmed that Amkor would package Apple Silicon chips produced at a nearby TSMC facility as part of a shared desire to expand U.S. manufacturing. Production news and retail news for Apple out of India. On the production side, a piece from TechCrunch says the company has confirmed that models along the whole of the iPhone 16 line are now being produced on the subcontinent. Given Apple's drive to lessen its dependence on China, that sounds like good news. But it's coming more slowly than JP Morgan analysts might like. While labor in India is considerably less expensive than in China, JP Morgan says the relatively small amount of production and the early stage of the learning curve are keeping Apple from realizing much in the way of savings. The firm figures 10 to 15% of iPhones made today are currently made in India. While they had expected that to hit 20 to 25% by next year, they've now pushed that target back. JP Morgan is currently looking for as much as a quarter of iPhone production to come from India by 2027. As for the retail side, the same TechCrunch piece had Apple announcing plans for 4 new stores in India. That'll be one for Bengaluru, one for Pune, an additional store for Delhi, and an additional store for Mumbai. The piece quoted Deirdre O'Brien, Apple's senior VP of retail, saying, "We are thrilled to build our teams as we plan to open more stores in India because we are inspired by the creativity and passion of our customers across this country." Yes, just the creativity and the passion. Probably has nothing to do with money. No word from Miss O'Brien on when those stores might open. Following retail from one country to another, where a store is moving from one location to another. Mac Rumors says Northern Ireland's one and only Apple store is changing locations. The store in Belfast's Victoria Square will close next Tuesday, the 15th of October. 3 days later, Friday the 18th, the new store will open at Belfast's very nearby Corn Market area. Would apparently take about 5 minutes to walk from the old location to the new one. As for what's coming, it's pretty much what you'd expect. Mac Rumor says Apple's website indicates that the new store will have an Apple pickup station for in-store pickup of online orders and a Genius Bar for technical support and repairs. The store will also host free Today at Apple creative sessions. And finally today, if you're worried that Apple Vision Pro has been forgotten by the Cupertino company, word that it has not been. A piece from Upload VR says last week the headset maker, or the iPhone maker that also makes headsets, hosted a number of Vision OS developers at its headquarters for an event that's been described as a kind of cozy WWDC. Wow, something remotely like WWDC held in person. Crazy. Called Envision the Future, the report says the one-day event covered building 3D immersive content, as well as Apple's Swift UI, AR Kit, and Reality Kit technologies. I made light of the event happening in person, but you can kind of do that with the whole Vision ecosystem currently. As one developer blogged, because the event centered on one topic and Vision OS is a very new platform, all of us developers were in the same boat. In the same boat and floating on some good vibes, it seems. It was a fantastic experience, wrote the developer, and I hope Apple holds many more like it. Upload VR points out the device for which those developers are developing still starts at $3,500. That said, the site says Apple's cozy event, as well as a steady string of content releases, show the tech giant's strategy is largely in line with Meta's long-term strategy toward both headsets and glasses. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-8255. 4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.